Where are you on your journey, you may ask? Because as we know it, we are souls having a human experience here. So we're always on a journey of learning, a journey of understanding essentially who we are. Because the more you understand yourself, the more you understand the world around you. So right now, some of you could be in a state of reflection. You could be in a state of pausing, waiting. Some could be in a state of confusion. Some could be in a state of curiosity. It's going to depend for all of us here today. So this pattern reading is centered around your journey. What you need to know, what you may not be seeing, what could help you understand what was, what is, and what could be, the past, the present, and the future. We're going to be looking into all that because as we know it, with all the hustle and bustle of life, trying to get from point A to point B, it could be a bit difficult to see how much we've done, why we're doing what we're doing, and where we're headed. We're going to go in with the tarot for the pattern reading today. We're going to use that as well as maybe other divination tools here. And again, we're looking into your journey, where you are at on your journey, your path. We have the Queen of Wands starting off here, Queen of Wands. What do you need to know about your journey? We can piece the puzzles together. Eight of Swords in reverse. Chuckle, your spirit guides are amazing. 10 of Swords in reverse. The World card upright. Okay, that's what we have here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Fascinating. The 8 of Pentacles. Okay, let's center this here so we can get everything in the screen. And yeah, we can proceed with the messages here. Okay. Now, 8 of Pentacles. You know what's interesting? I started filming and I realized that the camera wasn't on. Like I thought I hit the record button. And I initially had pulled out the cards, thought I was filming, but I had them all facing down, 4 of them. Maybe these were the same 4, I don't know. And I flipped the deck and I saw the 8 of Pentacles. And I was talking about what I was getting, which is what I'm going to channel here as well, because that message is too resonant. And then I was talking for a few minutes and I realized, oh, it's not recording. So again, the cards were face down. I had to pull it all together. And I said, okay, well, let me record. And the same card has come out underneath the deck. Fascinating. That's why I was smiling. So we have the 8 of Pentacles. And what I was saying with the 8 of Pentacles is that the 8 of Pentacles is my card of mastery. And this is mastery on a physical level. You have been putting in work on your journey, whether you realize that or not. Physical work. If you have been working on yourself, there are physical things that you have been shifting. If you have been working on your craft, your work, you have been doing a lot there. You've been physically applying yourself. If you have been trying to connect with others in any shape or form or whatever that is for you, there's been a lot of work. 8 of Pentacles for me is mastering something, craft, putting in that energy physically, time after time after time. And for some of you here, you could have some significant Leo in your chart, because I'm being taken to the number 8. I'm being taken to the 8th month, the number 8. So you could be seeing a lot of 8 years. You could be born on the 8th. What you're asking about could be significant to the number 8 as well, which would be about personal power. abundance. Number 8 is connected to personal power. When you think of the pattern here, outside of numerology, let's dive into astrology here for a second, because I'm being taken to astrology now. The number 8 is connected to Scorpio, connected to Pluto, and connected to the 8th house. In astrology, the birth chart, we have 12 houses. From your date of birth, your time of birth, your location of birth. We all have 12 houses. And each house represents an aspect and area of our life. When we think of the number 8, the 8th house, that is a house that comes after we have connected with people. Because number 7, the house 7 represents your relationships, your personal and your professional relationships. That is the 7th house. So therefore, the 8th house is about closeness, intimacy, where we share things. The 7th house represents marrying your partner. That's why you see readers will look at the 7th house as connections to your spouse, the kind of spouse, the relationship, marriage, etc. 8th house becomes what happens after you connect with someone, after you have come into that contract, that agreement. Now we are together. How do we build together? That is seen in the 8th house. But when you're building with someone and you're now connecting with them, what's happening there? You start to get closer to them. You start to see them outside of just that surface. You get to be vulnerable with them. You get to see their shadow as well, their secrets, because you're coming closer to this person. And you both change. Why? Because until you have reached that 7th house, house 7, until you've gotten to that 7th house, you've kind of been on your own. Because house 1 is you, house 2 is how you deal with your own energy, your values, house 3 is... When you move to house 7, it's where you connect with others. And then the journey of you and others begins. That's why we move into house 8. So house 8 becomes a very important and a crucial house, because this is where we share things with others. Our secrets, our emotions, our vulnerabilities, all of that is seen in the 8th house. So this tells me that you have been really putting in a lot of work when it comes to your energy, but also how you assert yourself, how you connect with others. It's like there's this journey you've been on in really building yourself. And building yourself because you understand, or you will understand, the importance of having a strong sense of self when it comes to any kind of engagement you have with other people. There's been a lot of physical effort here. That is the 8 of Pentacles I get. If you look at underneath the 8 of Pentacles here, we have the 2 of Swords. And in the birth chart as well, I'm being taken to the pattern of the chart. House 2 is right across house 8. So again, remember I said we have 12 houses. House 1 sits across house 7. House 2 sits across house 8, 3, 9, 4, 10, 5, 11, 6, 12. So if house 1 is about you, self, house 7 becomes others, you and others, basically, your relationships. And if house 8 is about your vulnerabilities, connecting with other people, sort of getting deeper and intimate with others, house 2 would be getting deeper and intimate with yourself. Because 2 sits across 8. 2 is where you're doing those things with self. 8 becomes where you do those things with others. That's why 2nd house represents your assets, what you have, your own value. And when you look at the 8th house in your birth chart and what is happening there, is about the values you share with other people. We come together now, we get intertwined and connected with each other. That's where we see power. You bring your own personal power, because 2nd house is that sense of worth, that sense of value, that sense of power. When you bring it into a connection with others, hence the 8th house, we are sharing that power. But that is also where people tend to lose themselves, because when you merge with other people, you bear a bit of your soul, your essence with others. And you may fall prey to losing yourself when you connect with others if you aren't careful if you don't have a healthy sense of second house, healthy sense of self-worth. That is why in the 8th house, we can also see things like power struggles. There's a lot you've been learning, unraveling. The 2 here with the 2 of Swords, this is about looking into your own self. So for some of you listening to this, you could be hearing this and reflecting back on your journey, or reflecting right now, asking yourself of those things that you had to experience. Why did I have to go through that kind of relationship? Why did I have to experience that kind of dynamic with this parent or with this? A lot of that was for you to come back to yourself, to understand your own energy, to grow, to learn. But what I find quite fascinating about your journey is that it just hasn't been internal. A lot of times when people are going through their journeys, sometimes it's like a lot of it is internalized, which is beautiful. We spend time, especially when you're deep on that spiritual path, is always this sort of internal shift, which is very key, because as above, so below, as within, so without. But you, it looks like simultaneously, because I initially had this underneath the deck, but my hand slid and I saw the 2. Tells me you've been simultaneously working on yourself, but also working in terms of your energy as it connects with others. And that seems to be quite a dense journey. That's not something that's easy at all. There has a lot of density to it, is what I want to say. It's quite dense, quite heavy. But then that brings us to what we have here in front of us. So let's look at that. Queen of Wands upright, 8 of Swords in reverse, 10 of Swords in reverse, the World upright. Now see, first thing I'm being drawn to here is 8 of Swords. I do want to say some of you could have significant Leo energy, Capricorn, Saturn energy, Scorpio energy as well, Pluto. Those could be aspecting your 1st house, 7th house, or 2nd, 8th house. You could have those there in those houses. And the charts that you could look at, because this is what I'm feeling, I'm sensing, you could look at your natal chart, your 9th harmonic chart. Those 2 are on the western side. And then your Vedic, you look at your Rashi D1 chart and you look at your D9 Navamsha chart. Those are the charts I'm being called to share with you. So you could have those placements. For example, it could be a Leo sun in your natal western, Scorpio rising in your Vedic. It could be like a Scorpio rising in your Navamsha chart. Just look at those charts. Something is standing out there. Now, the 8 of Swords in reverse. Interestingly enough, we do have the 8 here underneath the deck, right? We have the 8 of Pentacles. So we see the repeating 8 coming through. That's a pattern. Number 8, you could be seeing that a lot. There's a story here. We have the 10 of Swords, which will indicate that density I was feeling. There's something about the throat chakra that's coming through here, because I am feeling a bit of an energy sensation around there. The throat chakra is relevant because a lot of you, part of this journey has been learning how to speak your truth, learning how to express yourself. And I'm literally seeing someone who has been saying words of affirmation. Okay, you may have been affirming things to yourself. I am strong, I am powerful, I'm intelligent. Like, those words of affirmations are key, because when we think again of the pattern here, I was picking up number 2 and number 8. What is the 2nd house as well? The 2nd house is speech. It's your voice. It's the throat area, Taurus, naturally ruled by Taurus. Venus energy, speaking and speech, key things here, self-expression. You could have been someone in the past and been taken to the past that may have felt like you lost your voice when it came to how you interact, how you bond with others. Maybe there's been relationships in the past where you felt like somehow, some way you couldn't be vulnerable in expressing yourself. You couldn't express how you truly felt. You could have had connections that didn't allow you to really open up and express how you felt and your emotions as well. So there could have been this energy of having to hide and suppress how you feel, suppress how you express, suppress what it is that you wanted to share with others. And I see you with this 8 of Pentacles underneath the deck here, working and rebuilding that physically. This is not just I'm sitting in my room and I'm thinking what it would look like to have my voice back. No. This is not just fantasy. This is physical effort, as in I'm going to see them next time and I'm going to try, I'm going to practice, I'm going to say no. I'm going to see them next time and I'm going to share a little bit of how I feel, like one step at a time, building it brick by brick. You build that thing up. You build yourself up. You build that courage up. You build that sense of truth within yourself and expressing that. So we have the 8 of Swords here. 8 of Swords is about restriction. But this is a restriction from self. This is not a restriction that comes from anything external. This is some kind of way of thinking, some kind of perception we have, hence the eyes being closed. Some kind of perception we have that has created a self-limiting, self-sabotaging way of expressing ourselves. That's the 8 of Swords. That is why there's the infamous story of the 8 of Swords being the energy of the damsel in distress. Why? Because that is the energy of someone feeling. This card indicates that there's an open pathway here, but the individual doesn't see it. They think they're trapped. So they fall into that perception of, I don't have the power to do this. I don't have the power to free myself. When in reality, there is a power there. It's just not seen. Because the mind has created a story of, I cannot free myself. I cannot speak my truth. I cannot be vulnerable. I cannot express. That is that 8 connected to the pattern 8, which is connected to the 8th house, where we could lose our power. Remember what I said earlier, the 8th house. That is where you can assert your power. What is power? Queen of Wands. There's the power. There you go. The Queen of Wands. And look at the direction the Queen of Wands is looking at. Look at the World card. Look at the direction the World card is looking at. This is about empowerment. This is about knowing yourself. This is about sovereignty. Look at all that yellow pattern. Chakras. Let's go into the chakras for a second. Yellow is connected to the solar plexus chakra. That is the chakra of willpower. That is the chakra of personal power, chakra of strength, confidence. What is the 8 of Swords in reverse? Lacking confidence. There has been experiences you had in the past that tampered with your sense of confidence, with your sense of self, with your sense of sovereignty, with your sense of willpower. But the journey you have been on and the journey that you are on, it's going to depend for all of us where we are, I meant to say, on our journey. The journey is about unraveling this perception, letting go of this mindset, letting go of this restriction, sabotage, letting it go, purging it out so that you can stand fully and firm in your power. If you look at the World card here for a second, what is happening in this image? The individual is bare. They're wearing nothing except the piece of cloth, right? We have to censor that out there for a second. But the World card, there is an essence of clarity here. Something being transparent, if you may. You're not wearing anything. As opposed to the energy you see here, it's more recluse, more restrictive. You look at this one here, it's open, it's bare. Let's take a few steps back here and let's look into the 8th house. When we think of the 8th house, it comes after the 7th because the 8th is where we get intimate, we bond with other people. Therefore, we share things that are maybe private. That's why the 8th house is Scorpio, which is Pluto, which is connected to privacy, secrets, taboo, things that we don't say out loud, things that are more hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge. The eighth house here. And when we look at the eighth house, because it is about that level of closeness and intimacy, it requires vulnerability. I have to bear a bit of myself, and you have to bear a bit of yourself. What is happening here with the World card? She's bare. You can't, she's not wearing anything, essentially. So there's a sense of vulnerability. That's why the eighth house represents vulnerability. Being honest, the deep psychology, opening that layer up. It's why when you see people and you look into your chart and you see people with eighth house placements, they may start off a bit like this, more restricted, because that's the journey they're meant to go on. They're meant to come in a bit like this, or maybe grow up in environments that may give them this illusion of losing. This is an illusion because there's a path clear that the individual doesn't see, giving them an illusion of fear, illusion of having to restrict themselves, hold themselves back, when really they have the power. Queen of Wands, it's in them already. That power is not something you have to go chasing after. That power is within you. So eighth house, as you notice, the start of this journey of Scorpio people with Pluto dominant in their chart, they might have this earlier phase of feeling restricted, confused, afraid, and their journey into finding who they've always been, their power. Underneath that layer, peeling things layer by layer, taking the sword out one by one. If you look at the connection between 8 and 10 pattern now, I'm picking up the numbers here in terms of the math here. We have 8 and we have 10. What is the connecting energy between 10 and 8? 2, because 2 plus 8 is 10. And we were talking about 2 and 8. House 2 is what you've also been working on, which is pattern-wise taking us to astrology, your sense of self, your sense of self-worth, self-values, all of those things are seen in the second house. And the second house is also what the speech, expression. What are swords in tarot? Swords represent expression, speaking, thinking. That is the journey that you are on. And what you do now is what determines the outcome. How willing you are to look at this, or how willingly you have been looking at this. Because for a lot of you, with the 8 of Pentacles here and the 2 of Swords here, I can't make this stuff, and I can't make it up. Underneath that we had the 2 of Pentacles. Look at all that 2 and all that 8, right? Underneath all of that, we have the 2s, but we have the 8 of Pentacles here. You've been putting in that physical effort. So you may have already been, this is a collective message. So we are all in different phases of our journey, right? Some of us are in this place of realizing this. Some of us have completed this journey. Some of us are reflecting back to this journey. It depends. But remember, it's what we do in the now that creates the outcome. When there are predictions, oh, I see this coming for you, I see this, all of that is rooted in every single seed that's been planted, whether by you or the world around you. That's every single thing. It's like a cobweb, right? Like a web, like a spider web. It's all coming together in this intricate manner to create this big picture. Big picture. You see that right there? Big picture. And your journey has been about, or is about, unraveling this, shifting things, coming back to yourself, coming back to your power. I notice when I look at this here, it's individual, 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 and then individual here, but the eyes here. What you may realize is that your sense of power is what protects you. It's not being in the energy of fear, this rigidity, and this restriction. This is an illusion of protection. That's why it always leads to heaviness, pain. This just leads to more and more pain. But what you may realize on your journey soon is that being in your power is actually what protects you. Knowing that you're protected is what protects you. You see, energy listens to energy. We can say out there, oh, we're this and we feel blessed and we're this. That's beautiful, because words also contribute to the outcome. What we say, what we think, what we do, it all contributes. So that's doing something. But then there are other layers. How you truly feel about yourself. What energy are you truly embodying? What energy are you truly working on? Eight of Pentacles here. That is what energy listens to. So in a sense, as we believe in something, as we swords, what do swords represent? The mind. As you start to shift your belief system, and sometimes it takes us quite a while to do that, which is fine. But know that every time you take that one sword, you alchemize it. You say, well, I'm going to try, even if I use maybe your affirmation, because a lot of you've been doing that physically. Each pentacle, working on it one by one, transmuting all this here into pentacles, shifting the energy, being the alchemist that you are, as opposed to sitting in this place of fear and restriction, just like the Eight of Swords. So each time you take that thought, you take that belief system, you alchemize it, whether you're reading about it, studying, affirming, watching a pattern reading like this, going to therapy, whatever it is that you're doing, however way, because a lot of you've been doing it physically with the Eight of Pentacles, it's helping unravel, alchemize, helping shift your energy. And each time you do that, whatever it is, the desired outcome, that future that you want, that energy that you're wanting to manifest, whether you're wanting to manifest more personal power, you're wanting to manifest more confidence in expressing your truth, you're wanting to manifest that relationship, whatever it is, that's becoming attracted to you, magnetic. That's another thing Scorpio represents. Pluto, magnetism, attracting things to you as opposed to chasing these things. You start to attract because energy listens to energy. You can say a lot of things. Oh, I'm this and I want that. But we must ground that energy, Eight of Pentacles. We must practice what we think, what we preach. Outside of just saying, oh, I hope for this. Great. I want this. Yes. I want to stand in my power, my truth, but actually practicing it, because remember, you're not just a soul. You are a soul having a human experience, meaning that human side, getting our hands and our feet rooted and grounded here on this planet and actually allowing the physical being to practice what it is that the soul is yearning for, is how we align. That is why whatever it is that you desire begins to come to you. We can see it and say, oh, magic. Oh, miracle. True. Because there's a miracle to alchemize all of this anyways to begin with. The miracle already begins in the now. The shifting of the mindset. The letting go of the restrictive way of being. That's the miracle. So when you watch the readings and you listen to the podcast and you talk to the therapist and they're saying, this is what we hope to achieve. This is the outcome. You read the self-help book and it says, oh, if you do this and do this, you get here. That outcome begins in the now, in the patterns, in the choices that we make. The journey for all of us is always going to be about this step, that step, getting from point A to point B, and then reaching that destination. We all are here. We all are born into this planet. We have things that we're here to learn, and it's the same sort of things in the grand scheme of things. Yes, we may have different cultures, different backgrounds, different circumstances, but there are universal laws that govern all of us, which is that we're all souls. We come in, we live. There are karmic ties, there are things we're learning, the same sort of grand scale, grand scape of things. So some of you could have an 8th house stellium. You could have a lot of 8th house placements. When you look into your chart, like I said, look at your natal, look at your harmonic, 9th harmonic. Those are the charts I go to. I just personally, I mean, to each his own. Look at your Rashi, Vedic astrology, D1 and your D9. You could have a lot of 8th house placements, or at least significant placements in your 8th house. You know, planets that could be sitting there. Pluto, Saturn could be sitting in your 8th house, your 2nd house as well, Pluto or Saturn. You could also have stellium in there. That's where you have multiple planets in a house. So you could have the Sun, Moon, Pluto, Saturn, all of that there. You could have an air sign as well in your 8th house, because I'm being taken to the astrology pattern. So for example, some of you could have Gemini in the 8th house. Look at those 4 charts. One of those charts could have it in there. You could have Aquarius as well. That's an air sign too. Libra as well in the 8th house, even your 2nd house. So your journey, for those of you who are confused as to why have things been so difficult, what is the point of all this? That is because there's something your soul is aligning with that is going to truly protect you. You may think right now, oh, I'm protecting myself and I'm doing all this, I just have to hold back. I just have to keep holding on tightly. I just have to keep, just making sure I bite my tongue. I don't speak about this and hide what I need to say and just play small. And you may be thinking that that is what is needed. That's not needed anymore, at least from what I sense here. You are realizing that the more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, true, authentic, clear, transparent about what it is you want to say in those connections as you partner with others, that is actually what protects you. So if you've been wondering, again, it's going to differ for everyone. Some of you are reflecting upon this journey because you're sitting here now and maybe just asking yourself what it is that truly you were meant to learn. The same message applies for everyone. Whether you are starting, you're in it, you're completing it, it's a journey of personal empowerment. The number 2s could be relevant, 8s could be relevant. Leo, Scorpio, Pluto, Saturn, Capricorn. House 2, House 8, stelliums in those houses, air sign in those houses, or Scorpio, Capricorn, Leo in those houses as well. Those are some of the patterns here. But essentially, it was all meant to bring you back into your sense of power, your personal power, your personal power. Now, I want to go in with maybe 1 or 2 oracle here to see. I'm going to pick this because my hand just went straight to that. So I'm going to just take it. So let's see what we have here. Let's see here. We add something else to this. We have the stomach. Underneath the deck, we do have nerves, okay? We'll talk about this here, but let's look at this. We have stomach. It says assimilation, breakdown, gut, filling, desire, satisfaction, powerhouse, fulfilling. I mean, what is the Queen of Wands? That's the powerhouse. Now, you could be watching this, identify as a masculine and so forth, but this is an energy reading, right? It's a pattern reading, so it doesn't really matter what physically, because I read the soul, essentially the core. So this is going to apply for all of us. It doesn't matter what you identify as on the surface. So we have the stomach here. When I went through the chakras, the patterns of the chakras, I talked about the solar plexus because of the yellow she's wearing here, right? The energy is wearing here. The yellow is connected to the solar plexus. What is the solar plexus? It's in the gut. It's the stomach. It's in it. We have the chakras all going from the root chakra to sacral. Then we have the solar plexus. That is what we have here. Amazing, right? Fascinating how synchronistic it is. And it says assimilating, assimilation, breaking down here, breakdown, gut filling. All it is leading into what we talked about earlier, right? Because desire is connected to that 8th house energy as well. It's that scorpionic Pluto energy. But if you look at this here, it talks about breaking down something, alchemizing something, transmuting something, assimilating. All of this has been helping you. Everything you are going through or have gone through is helping you tap into that inner power, that gut feeling, that strength you have, trusting yourself, coming back to self, trusting yourself. That is how you protect yourself. Protecting ourselves doesn't look like restricting ourselves, because we restrict out of fear. And for some of you, your gut, your actual gut health could be something that has been a bit troubling for you. Maybe bloating, having digestive sensitivity, because if you look at underneath the deck here, we have the nerves. It says responding, sensitive, wired, coordination, pain, stress, alert, awareness. Being hyper alert can stress the body out and stress the gut. And with the 8 of Swords here, that is an hyper aware energy in a sense, because it's, I have to make sure I'm well protected, and gotta restrict the energy. It causes stress. They're hyper alert. If you look underneath the 8 of Pentacles, underneath that we had the 2 of Swords. That's also a hyper aware energy, because they're thinking, overthinking, and questioning. Is it this? Is it that? Is it not this? Is it not that? That's the energy there. But I love that we have the stomach here, because that is the solar plexus. And if this reading was to direct us to a particular chakra point, it would be the solar plexus, because that is the chakra that is all about personal power. That is the chakra that talks about dealing with issues around your willpower, your strength, your sense of self. It's vulnerability that gives us power. Being able, and that vulnerability, we may think it has to do with with other people. It's a vulnerability with yourself. Getting intimate with yourself. Before we can be intimate with other people, we must be able to be intimate with ourselves, to know ourselves, to trust ourselves. You cannot trust anything outside of you when you cannot trust yourself. You cannot bond deeply with anything outside of you if you don't truly bond with who you are. That's why you must know thyself. And the journey we're on, myself included, is to know ourselves, is to learn who we are, is to have that level of intimacy with self, so that we can come from a place of power and share that with, what do we have here? The World card. Whether that's in a relationship, domestic with your family, professionally, in whatever capacity, with the earth at large, it starts with self. Seeing the dark side of ourselves, the shadow, doing the shadow work, and integrating that journey into our lives as wisdom. It's why we have the black cat here. And as you unravel, take those swords and alchemize them, that process of alchemy is that digestive, is that process of, you think of the gut, it absorbs the nutrients. So if some of you are looking at your journey now and thinking, oh, it's useless and it just keeps happening, what you may not realize is that there is nourishment that comes from every sword, every pain, every experience, everything that you've gone through. There's nourishment. The gut is powerful. It takes what it takes. It releases what it doesn't need. So there's an energy of breaking down old belief system, as it says here, break down. Your gut could have been a sensitive spot for you, or could be a sensitive spot for you. And moving forward on your journey, one of the patterns you can notice physically is look at how you feel about things. Trust your gut feeling. As opposed to being afraid of every choice, of every connection, of everything, let your gut use that black cat energy, which talks about instinct, intuition. Use that gut feeling to guide you. And that's what protects you. You have intuition for a reason. You have that gut feeling for a reason, to protect you. And that is how you strengthen your muscles, your spiritual muscles, your intuitive muscles. Because the more restricted we are, we're not using our power. Therefore, we are losing, and we're sort of restricting and diminishing it in some capacity. Powerhouse. That stood out to me right there now. So again, empowering yourself. That is the journey you are on. And your nerves here, you're quite sensitive, the empath. If you didn't know that, I'm letting you know you are the empath. And you see how it says alert, awareness. That is connected to the gut feeling. When we're stressed, it affects the gut health. When we dismiss what we're feeling intuitively, it affects the gut health. Therefore, it affects the nerves, the nervous system. The more we practice, Eight of Pentacles, the more we practice in whatever shape that looks like, whether again you're working with a therapist, you're self-helping, you are affirming things, you are talking to your guide, you're watching a pattern reading like that, whatever capacity, you're reading a book, podcast, whatever it is, each time you, again, practice and alchemize and shift the energy, each time you are learning to do that and you're actually practicing that, you're strengthening yourself and your nerves as well as your intuition. You're someone who, again, this is more on the spiritual side, you've been blessed with a strong sense of intuition naturally. I'm speaking to some very powerful intuitives here as well. So strong 8th house energy, strong Scorpio energy here, Pluto, whatever way it resonates for you in your chart. Just look into your chart. You have strong intuition. But maybe some of you have been wondering, why have I been very on edge with my nerves? I've had this, sometimes just feeling nervous. That's the 8 of Swords energy. Worried or nervous, and then having some gut issues is all connected. A lot of this imbalances we feel in our physical body, it really is just what's happening energetically. And the more we align with the energy in a balanced way, the more we shift the physical symptoms and we step into the energy of vitality and amazing health. So your journey is that of self-empowerment, freeing yourself from an imprisonment of restriction, finding your voice, speaking your truth, knowing that your vulnerability is beautiful, it's powerful, it's needed, it protects you, and understanding the gift of finding your personal power, the gift of embodying your personal power, how it blesses you and blesses the world around you. You're on a journey. Use this as a guide to piece your own patterns together. I hope this brings you clarity. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.